ओम श्री तपोवन परम गुरवे नमः। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्म विद्वरम्। So, Chinmay Mission Pledge given out by Puja Gurudev on the occasion of an All India Chinmay Mission Workers Conference. And you know where this pledge was given? It was given in a place called Abbotsbury. Where is this Abbotsbury? Someone may think it is in UK, Australia, America, but it is in Chennai, Abbotsbury.
It's a marriage hall.
Yeah. So workers conference was happening there. There Gurudev gave this. You know, the importance of this I will just tell you in 1 minute. On that occasion when Gurudev wanted to inspire the workers, he called, I think his secretary or someone, and he said, sit, closed his eyes, started. We stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect. We serve as an army, courageous, and talk. Everything came. One shot. It is not that he thought one sentence, then he said, this also we can add, then let us add that also. This will be good, that will be nothing. Why I'm saying this is, it is a revelation of a great rishi. Like Veda mantras are a revelation, Chinmay Mission Pledge itself is a revelation. And if we learn to live the points that Puja Gurudev has given in the pledge, we will get mukti also. Moksha itself we will get through this. Chitta Shuddhi, Bhakti, Seva Bhav, Desh Bhakti, Matru Bhakti, Pitru Bhakti, Parivar Bhakti, everything will come. This one Chinmay Mission Pledge has everything. It is a what we can call like a multivitamin capsule. There's a limitation of analogy because we have to eat food and then multivitamin only supplement. Here it is, this is the main food. Whether I may know Veda, Shastra, Smriti, Purana, Itihasa, etc. is one thing. But if I know Chinmay Mission Pledge and I am committing to live Chinmay Mission Pledge, everything is done. So I made a small PPT. I'm going to share that with you here, and then we will reflect on the pledge based on this. And we should also know this fact that Chinmay Mission Pledge, though it is the essence of the scriptures, there is a lot of management points which are embedded in this whole pledge. So Gurudev is not only a great spiritual master, a great teacher, but a great leader who established this Chinmay movement and started by himself. What we can say, Chinmay Mission is a startup by Gurudev in 1951. Officially as an organization in 53, but it was a startup. So it's a thing that he evolved by himself. If you speak in management language, men, money, material, all those things, he did not have anybody else. It was he who was the man. It was his knowledge was the material. He did not have money and machinery, no other sophisticated machinery. But it is he who has brought this whole organization up, today global organization. And he managed it for 42 years so gloriously. So it is the quintessence of his sadhana also, plus his leadership skills and the organization and administrative capabilities. And so we must ensure that we take up this pledge. Every line of the pledge is like a oath, because pledge means a vow. It means that I commit to live. It's like a sankalpa. So it's a very ideal way to live, like how we keep Sthita Prajna Lakshan in our mind. So 18 verses of the man of perfection, how they will help us that in given situation, how would a man of perfection respond? The way in which a man of perfection responds, that becomes our sadhana. In that same way, we can keep the Chinmay pledge as our guiding light. That what I am doing, how I am behaving, how I am acting in the world, in my personal life, in my family life, in my seva, in the organization, in all this, is it adhering to the pledge or not? Because if we commit to this pledge, we will definitely evolve, and the teams, the groups where we are involved, they will also feel happy, they will also grow very well. So it can be considered like a set of positive affirmations that we tell ourselves. It is not to tell other people, hey, look, you better stand in the spirit of one family, okay? Because we stand as one family. No, it is for us to correct ourselves, to remind of the goal. What is the goal? To realize the Supreme. What is the means? Seva and purification of the mind. So it is for us. So at the end of each statement, I should ask myself, suppose it is saying that we stand as one family bound to each other with love and respect. Then we should ask ourselves, individually and as a collective group also, that do we stand as one family? If yes, is there love and respect in us, between all of us? If no, then how can we bring the feeling of family, bring the feeling of togetherness, invoke love and respect for each other? So we must ask these questions to ourselves, individually, as a group, even churn out if required, and whatever are the obstacles to being as a family, overcome them and come together as a family. So that's the first line, we stand as one family. So if I ask you, what is a family? What would you say? You can type in the chat if you all are muted. What is family?
Family is a group of people who are related to each other by love and affection. It can be by blood, it can also not be by blood.
Right. Yes, Amma.
A family is a place where we can be ourselves without having to pretend.
Wonderful. Where we feel this is a group where I belong, where I can be who I am. Very true. Why do we need a family? Can't we just be happy by ourselves? Because many times when people come together, all kitch kitch happens. No, let us be up by ourselves only. Why is a family needed?
We are social beings, so we need people around.
Wonderful. So we are social beings. So for social beings, social media has been invented. Sit at home and do socializing on social media. Why is a family required?
To instill all the samskaras into us.
To instill samskaras into us. Okay.
Barrier is for what?
Sorry.
It's on. Everyone has a goal to be fulfilling towards one family to be formed. There is a purpose of a family. Everyone has a different role and they combine together to achieve one goal.
So they have different roles and they all come together to achieve one goal. Okay. Possible in some scenarios, definitely. That is what a family is for. So there may be different reasons, and I'm not denying any of the reasons. You are saying, yes, we are social beings, so we need a sense of belonging, and family has a very important role to play. And there are different types of people in the family, so different emotional needs of ours also get fulfilled. There are different reasons why there is a need of a family. Some we will explore. So when we think about this, that why we need a family, family is the pillar of strength for our Indian culture, Indian society, and individual is the unit in a Western context, family is the basic unit of life in the Indian context. And why is the family the basic unit of life? That is the most crucial aspect, because the individual ego, selfishness, etc., can be surrendered in the family, because ego surrenders only at the altar of love. And when there is a family, whether, as Viduji said, blood relation or not a blood relation, but they are bound with love, then we are ready to put aside our ego, likes, dislikes, work together, like someone said, common goal. So that feeling of egolessness is a feeling which can make us realize our own divine nature also. So family is a very important unit of our spiritual sadhana. Many people think family is a obstacle in spiritual sadhana. So many people say, "Arey Swamiji, hum to phas gaye samsar mein. You are very happy, you are so blessed. आप तो मुक्त हो गए ये माया जाल से, कोई परिवार नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है," all that. Somebody went and told Gurudev these things, that, Swamiji, I have wife, I have children, I am, in so much of trouble. You are so blessed. He said, "My dear, you have only one wife and you have only two children. This entire world, all children are my children. Think about it. For a sannyasi, this whole world is their home." So the idea is expansion. Spiritual expansion happens when the ego contracts. How beautiful is that? It's a contradiction actually. Expansion by contraction. The lesser the ego is, the more is the expansion of love and more is the expansion of the heart. Family plays that part. Before we come to identify with the universal consciousness that the self in me is the self in all, at least I can identify with my father, my mother, my brother, my siblings, etc. So it is a very great source of spiritual sadhana, one. Now this family could be anything. It need not be only the blood relationship. Like we are a Chinmaya family. Now if we are a Chinmaya family, then as a family we work as one unit. Family is not 5 individuals working parallelly for 5 different things. They may have their own goals also, there's no doubt. But as it was said earlier, one common goal, that we feel bound with the emotions, we feel bound together as a family. There are certain family values. There's a family deity. In our culture we have Kula Devata, Kula Guru, Kula Vaidya, Kula Parampara. There are traditions, there are values, there are various things that we do as a family. If that family spirit is there, it becomes very easy to evolve. Same way, Gurudev gave us a code of conduct for Chinmaya family. We should go through that code of conduct. That what is he expecting from a Chinmaya mission member? It's a beautiful code of conduct where he has given. I would suggest that whoever is here on this group, if all of you are a part of that one WhatsApp group or something, then we should put that code of conduct on that group. Wherever all of you are there, we should put that code of conduct on that group, so that all of us are aware that this is what Gurudev expected from us, to live as individuals of this whole organization. And in that he has mentioned points about the family also. Like one of the points, if I have to just mention here, is he would say every week visit the temple as a family. Now that's a very simple instruction, but a very powerful instruction. Because spiritual samskar comes together, love comes together, connecting to the divine comes together. Many aspects come together in that one instruction. So a family has these things. Family is not just few people living under the roof. No, there is common things that we do. And that's why family is a basic unit of our culture. It also builds the economy, builds the character of the person, and makes that person emotionally mature, because as we said, different people are there in the family. Different emotional needs of ours get fulfilled, and we also give different types of emotions to people. So there is reciprocation, and giving in that one grows. It's a big source of support. Social security is there abroad, in so much money goes in social security abroad. Here we don't have social security like that. Our family is our fallback. And that is such a strong unit. Even economic stability. When recession hit the world in this, I think 2007 or 2008, I forget the year, the Lehman Brothers, that when the whole bubble burst and the collapse happened, recession hit the world. To a large extent, India was able to uh, withstand that whole thing because of the family unit. Because in the family there is an attitude of saving. Because the mother will ensure that some gold is there, some wealth is there, something is there in the bank. The family, our tradition of the family has a lot of impact on the economy also and on the individual of the family also. So economic stability, when people are together, one brother helping out the other if one loses a job or one gets through a difficult time. So there is a lot of such economic interdependence and strengthening. If the families stay together, that is the best. But unfortunately, many times the money only becomes the cause of division in the family. But the vision we must have very clear. It brings economic stability, it brings this feeling of belongingness, because are we not seeing this happening in the world today? Everybody wants their individual freedom, but that is one of the reasons why loneliness, depression, drugs, anxiety, suicide rates, divorce rates, all that is increasing. Why? Because we don't want to live together as a family, then all this is going to increase. Because ultimately we need to feel belonged, we need to feel loved, we need to feel appreciated. Those things are very important. So whether it is in individual family, whether it's in a corporate company where people come together to work, in a spiritual organization, these are various aspects which if we keep in mind, many people come. So you may see, in youngsters, many people come because they want to bond with people, because it helps them. They remember each other, they become friends. Nowadays what they call BFF, best friend forever. They find their best friends forever in such groups. And where the spiritual backing is there, then all the more, to find today people who have that kind of spiritual backing is so difficult. I am seeing so many of our youngsters, they are struggling to get married because they don't find only right people. There are so many matrimonial sites out there, but still there is a problem of matchmaking that is not happening because the grounding is not there. So people come together for this sense of belonging, for identification, for a certain healthy exchange of ideas, emotions, doing something positive for the society, feeling the joy of serving selflessly. So family brings all this, where one learns to care, share, give, forgive. If we were living as just individuals, we would not grow like that. So here is a beautiful video of Puja Gurudev.
In the East, India and China, to an extent Russia also, it is not the individual, the unit or the society, it is the family. Therefore, even today, the family tie is strong and not the individual arrogance. Here, if a brother is successful and his younger brother is in losses and suffering, the younger brother will not get 1 cent from the elder brother. The elder brother says, you try your best, it's your luck. In India, it is not so. If one brother has got a job, all his brothers and other families are together eating from that one income. Therefore, even though they say that 27% is the unemployment, 30% is the unemployment, nothing happens there. Nobody starves. Why? If one fellow has got an income, one grandfather has got some pension coming, that will do. The whole family will eat. The family unit. These all the beauties of it are forgotten in the modern craze of selfishness, that each individual, I and my wife, we will live together. We don't care what happens to the whole world. And even that, I and my wife also, a sacrifice is necessary. That is also too much, and therefore I alone. My life is only in a stepney. I take it and throw it away whenever I want and there. Each individual has become selfish, and therefore there is no integrity of the community, of the society. And that integrity of the community is then created by some artificial political ideology or a nationalism which cannot bind you as, because blood is thicker than water. The feeling that we are all belonging to one family, there is a greater affinity between the members of the family than, but if there is so much of overdosage of selfishness have come into the individual, individuals shatter.
Such a beautiful video. This is from first chapter of the Gita when Gurudev is speaking about this family unit. Now, how true it is that, earlier we had joint family system. I have grown up in joint family system. There is friction in joint family, there is no doubt. But where is there no friction? Two people come together, there is friction, full stop. But if we live together, there is so many things beautifully we learn in the joint family system. Today we have to teach separately to our children. Earlier we were joint family, those things were happening automatically. Then this joint family became nuclear family. So if you ask, suppose if I ask you, what is a family for you? What will you say? Who are the family members? So you will say father, mother, uncle, auntie, their siblings. That is a huge family. If you ask a youngster today, what is family for you? It will be 3 people. That's it. Father, mother, me, my sibling, maximum. And that to Hindus, though, one only now. When we were children, it was hum do, hamare do. Then it became hum do, hamara ek. Now it is going to become in Hindu family hum do, bas. That is called atomic family. From joint family to nuclear family to now atomic family. What is atomic family? Each one living only by themselves, pursuing their own life, their career, just they are living under one roof. So that breakdown, when it happens, then the whole culture in the society, everything goes. So in the work, in our organization also, we must have this feeling of family is more important. Seva will happen and it should be done meticulously, beautifully, there is no doubt in that. But if we don't have the feeling of family, there is no trust, there is no love, or there is not enough respect, then before taking up projects to execute, we have to take up activities to build the team, to build the trust, to build that feeling of we are one family. And as I said, difference of opinion will be there. So family is defined like this, where there is freedom for every person. They feel accepted. See, acceptance is a very important aspect for any transformation to happen. Without acceptance, transformation cannot happen. We can't force transformation. Person has to feel accepted, then that person will become open. So even if we have to tell something to somebody to change, if they are not feeling a part of the group, or if they don't tune up, or they don't feel accepted by us, even if we tell them, they are not going to change. Because they will always think that you are somebody else. They will not feel oneness. They will not feel an identification is not there. So acceptance, like simple example, if I have to say, when a child feels accepted, that you have heard the child's opinion, you have understood the child's opinion, and then you are able to give some suggestions and make the child take a decision, or let the child decide whatever it is, the child feels accepted. But if one is not even listening to the child, not even being empathetic to the child, one is just enforcing one's opinion, after some time the child won't listen. Then people will say, oh, my child is rebelling against me. They will rebel because you're not making them feel accepted. So anyway, so my point is that same thing happens in any organization also. does that person feel accepted? Does that person feel loved? Does that person feel in tune with the people, the vision? Then rough edges will be there that we can always, each of us have, so we have to round up each of those. That's our sadhana. But the point is, many places, why is it that people struggle to build teams? Because they don't know how to make people feel accepted. And to feel accepted, these three things are important. One is love, one is respect, and one is recognition of the talent of that person or that special skill of that person, and make that person feel that you can contribute, your contribution is valued. However small or big, it is valued. If that feeling comes, then there is acceptance. That person will feel accepted. So family means freedom, it means acceptance, it means motivation by a common ideal. Putting aside the ego, thinking as a group. Yajna bhavana is what we call eyelessness and yajna bhavana, and then love. So that's a family. So we stand as one family. The first value is, so this when I was in Chinmay Yoga Kendra, that time Swami Mitrananji was a brahmachari. He was brahmachari Swabodh Chaitanya. And he was giving talks on the Chinmay Mission pledge. And he was, when he was reflecting on this, what he came across is that the acronym teamwork, TEAMWORK, applies exactly to the Chinmay Mission pledge, every line. So first alphabet of this teamwork is T. T for togetherness. Now we stand as one family indicates togetherness. Bound to each other with love and respect indicates empathy. Like that, he made beautiful acronyms. I will share with you as we go along. So togetherness is a very, 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 very important quality. This we must cultivate. There is no choice in this, actually speaking. Because the work we have to do is very vast. The need for coming together is understood and felt only when we understand the higher vision. See, Gurudev wanted to revive the Sanatana Dharma. He said converting Hindus to Hinduism. Hindu revival, Hindu renaissance was his vision. Nation building was his vision. Universal peace and harmony through the understanding of Vedanta is the vision. And ultimately then it is self-realization is the vision. So it would have been easy for him to teach by himself. He need not have established Sandipani Sadhanalaya. He did not have started so many schools, colleges, nothing. He could have been a one-man show. But he said this work requires maximum people. He wanted to produce more and more such people who will be walking, talking ambassadors of the culture. When the vision becomes clear to us, every single team member is valuable to us. That everybody is important. At the same time, we know that I am not indispensable. Even without me, the vision of the Lord, the work of the Lord will happen. This is a beautiful balance that we must have. That we should know very clearly that we all are instruments of the Lord to serve His cause. At the same time, every single person is important to us. So when I interact with the family members, am I talking lovingly, politely, transparently, so that the team remains together? Individually, we cannot achieve anything. It is one of the greatest stupidities of the ego and delusions that the ego lives in, to think that I will do it by myself. Precisely that is the reason why a family is required to let go of this notion. Because that is what we cheat ourselves by thinking like that. Look at our scriptures. Bhagwan Ram, did he need honestly to build a bridge across the Lanka, across the ocean? And did he need monkeys and bears to fight with him? Did he need that squirrel to put its own contribution? He doesn't need anybody. Bhagwan could have said, "Arey, who are you people? I will go by myself." He valued every single person. That's the greatness of a leader. each one in their own capacity giving their best, and the leader making them realize their potential and help them to give their best. That is what we have to work on. Before we can work on the vision, we have to work on building the team. Team is built when there is feeling of what we spoke, those 5 values, FAMILY, 6 values. So feeling of togetherness has to be established first and foremost. Every single person is important, their contribution is valuable, is important. In any way it can be. You know, one lady, she gave one Guru Dakshina to Puja Gurudev. I don't remember the exact amount, but it was a very small amount. Some 1 rupee or something only it was. And she sent it by post to Gurudev. And Gurudev sent so many things to her as prasad. So somebody asked Gurudev, Swamiji, she has sent only 1 rupee. And you know what Gurudev replied? He said, this is the best that she can offer, which she has offered. For me, this 1 rupee is most valuable. Because this is a lot of money for her and she has given this. There are billionaires who are giving certain lakhs, but that is not so important. This 1 rupee is so important. And you know, 25 years later, Gurudev met this person in some place. He remembered, Amma, you had sent this to me. This is called love. This is called the feeling of belonging that a person feels. Everybody who came in touch with Gurudev felt, I am dear to him, I am special to him. Not because he was artificial, because he wanted to build some team and become a big leader. No, because he felt that love. He was genuine. Family spirit will come across only if there is genuineness. Any amount of artificiality one may do, nothing will happen. Any perk, and today in the world they do now, give perk, give salary, give bonus, give so many things. For with that you can motivate for some time, which is okay, it has its own place. But if the person does not feel that my leader is genuine, and genuine means is really interested in my well-being and cares for me, till then that feeling will not come only. So that for a spiritual student, this genuineness is very important. Fakeness, pretension, false masks, dirty politics, you know, cheap kind of what we call something else inside, something else outside. That person can't be a great leader. So one has to bring that bhav, make the people feel that. So leaders should make time, should spend time. So one aspect I said is to make people come together, feel this bond is through genuineness. Second is through time. And by time I don't mean long hours. By time I mean quality time. Like even in a family, the spouse and children. Today, is it not true that so many people complain, oh, I don't have family, I don't have quality time with my spouse. Meaning the spouse is with me, but the mind is somewhere else. The quality time is not even half an hour. Though the spouse may be on a vacation with the family, but full time the mind is somewhere else. So time needs to be spent to make people connect, because that is the human connection. Especially when diverse backgrounds people come together to understand each other, know each other, some time has to be spent. Now, without doing this, without being genuine, without building a team, we try to take up big projects or do certain things, then we will come under big pressure, because then we will say, Arey, there is nobody. You know, one of the reasons why we feel people are not there is because we don't connect and make them feel a family unit. The moment we make them feel a family unit, are we not seeing so many projects happening so beautifully? Because those people, even if some of them are doing multiple projects, they don't feel the pressure, because they feel identified with that vision. They feel we are one team, this vision is important, let us come together, do this together. So that's why that bonding is very important. Some people have that natural ability. Some people have to cultivate that ability, that how to make people bond, how to make people uh, stay together as a team, and conscious efforts have to be put. See, not only as an individual, not only as an organization, but if you think about it from a deeper standpoint, even Sanatana Dharma, what is one of the biggest difficulties of our Sanatana Dharma? We are not united. We will not say that I am a Hindu. We will say first I am a Vaishnav, I am a Shaivite, I am a Shakta, I am a Tantra follower, I am a follower of any other thing, no, any organization. Are first you are a Hindu, Baba. Akhandanand Maharaj used to say, Sajjan bano, Sakriya Sajjan bano, Sangathit Sakriya Sajjan bano. Be good, be actively good, be unitedly actively good. That feeling of togetherness is very, very important. And if you look at Gurudev, did he not operate like that? Whatever project he took up, first he made the team, gave them the vision, made them feel belonging to the vision. He did not create his devotees, who are his own people. He did not distinguish that these are my people, these are not my people. For him, we all are one family working towards a common cause. A leader who is secure will have this thought process. A leader who is himself or herself insecure will always say, these are my people who are goody-goody, who are always yes men to me, who will not rebel against me. And if somebody rebels against me, I don't know, put them out. They are not my people. Any great leader will know how to keep people together, because the focus is on the vision, not on the individual. If the focus remains on I and my glory, and because I achieved this project, and I may say superficially I dedicated to my team, but deep inside it is my team, my glory, I finally did it. Then it is going to be evident. So we need that kind of a selfless vision, that we are together in this, working for a common cause. And in fact, Gurudev always used to do the opposite, or not. He would make everybody feel they have achieved everything. That is the glory of a leader. I remember, when I was making Pradeep, so when we came to that portion of Chinmay Sandipani Sadhanalaya and the vision, so the first batch of the students, when Gurudev started Sandipani Sadhanalaya, he started between two wars, between the Pakistan war and the China war. He started the Sandipani in between those two wars. The most difficult time to start Sandipani, but he started it. And the students were assembled there. He made them hoist the flag, Om flag, saffron color flag, and Om is written on that. He made them hoist that Om flag, and he told them, now you have hoisted this flag. It is your duty now to uphold the glory and honor of this flag. This is the flag of Sanatan Dharma, the revival of Sanatan Dharma. This is at the beginning of Sandipani. It's not that at the end of Sandipani course he is telling them this. He made a call very clearly, saying that I want young people who can commit their life for the nation, for the revival of this culture. 5 years I will train them. They have to go into the field. And at the beginning he said, now you have hoisted the flag, it is your responsibility. So he would make people empowered. A leader will do that. So these are attitudes and qualities we have to learn from Gurudev as a great leader. If a team is there, we should know how to join in the team. If a team is not there, we should know how to create a team. But what is important is I live, work as a team player, not as an individual player. That's a spiritual sadhana for each one of us also, to think, am I individually doing this or am I doing it as a team? So communication, transparency, all those things are important in a team. If we have no choice but to have a team, because we have no choice but to have a team, because the vision is very vast. Even one person, one person by alone cannot achieve this whole thing. Today we are not even talking about Sanatan Dharma and the revival. We have limited ourselves to only thinking about the organization. What is the organization meant for? Directly, it is meant for Hindu revival, it is meant for nation building, it is meant for empowering the world with the knowledge of Vedanta. Indirectly, we may say, no, by doing XYZ, we are able to do Hindu revival. But Gurudev wanted it indirectly or directly. We should think about that. Because if we have that Hindu revival in mind clearly, then we will know that what is the project to be taken up, how to work together, how to bring our people together, how to stay together, because those become more important. And so it is a very, very important aspect to understand this, that every single person is required, because the vision is very, very vast. So once we understand that the vision is so vast, then that is a common goal that brings all of us together, that if this is a vision, what are the milestones, how are we going to achieve? And that's why Gurudev said, higher the vision is, greater is the
Why did partition of India and Pakistan?
Can the admin mute them, please? Right. So individually, as we said, our goal is personally to experience supreme happiness or moksha. But the journey towards that happens through Chitta Shuddhi. And for Chitta Shuddhi, we need a worthy, selfless purpose, which is what Gurudev gave us the whole field. The Chinmay movement is the means for Hindu revival, for nation building, for world peace. According to my Swadharma, where do I fit into this and how can I serve the best selflessly is what I have to identify and start serving in my own capacity as per my strengths, my own Swadharma. So when we worship the two Padukas, those two Padukas remind us this. One Paduka is awaken yourself, other Paduka is help others to awaken themselves. In this Seva, Jnana Seva it can be the Karma Yoga Seva where we actually identify with a cause, give our time, effort, energy, dedicate ourselves to a particular cause, whether it is Gita chanting, whether it is working of the Chinmay Prerna Ashram, whether it is taking care of any of this seva activities of maximize happiness or any such thing, depending on whatever is our temperament, identify and we start serving. So one part is service to purify, other part is knowledge to awaken. What we see in the Gita, Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga prepares us for Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga here, by this I mean self-knowledge. So every time we worship the Padukas, the vision of the Master should come to us. That this is what Gurudev was rooted in. He left the Himalayas, he left the Gangaji, he left Tapon Maharaj, and he came down to give this knowledge to us. And he created a field for us to serve and purify ourselves. This we should always keep in mind, that what was his vision and are we living by that vision. So that is the Chinmay Mission's vision. And what is the motto of Chinmay Mission? Maximum happiness to maximum people for maximum time. Are we even attempting to reach maximum people? We should ask ourselves. If we are reaching maximum people, how are we retaining those maximum people? Retention of maximum people also is important, like how this Gita chanting competition, when we do, now so many children register, then we do some workshop for the parents, then how to involve the parents, some chanting class has been started. So that is transforming the event into the movement, where slowly through events, when we reach out to people, then bring them into the organization, make them understand the vision and connect them to the whole Chinmay movement. So that the activities alone we are not planning, events alone we are not planning, we are connecting these activities and events to the movement. And this big picture everybody should have very clearly. Then it becomes one family. So today, this one value is what we have taken. We stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect. That we will take up in the next class, but we stand as one family. So focus on staying together as a family, and with that yajna bhavana. So I will end today with this, that we need to cultivate this, work consciously on being together, building a strong team for every aspect, whether it is for Chinmay Pathshala, whether it's at Prerna, whether it's in Gita chanting, in grassroots activities, anything, corporate workshops, youth movement, each place, strong teams have to be built, each one having clarity about what they have to do, at the same time connected to the big picture of Chinmay Prerna as the zone, and big picture of the Chinmay Mission's movement, Chinmay Mission's vision as Gurudev gave it to us. So coming together is beginning, staying together is progress, working together is success. So for today I will stop here. Okay, so hands on your heart and together we will chant. We stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect. We serve as an army, courageous and disciplined, ever ready to fight against all low tendencies and false values within and without us. We live honestly, the noble life of sacrifice and service, producing more than what we consume and giving more than what we take. We seek the Lord's grace to keep us on the path of virtue, courage, and wisdom. May thy grace and blessings flow through us to the world around us. We believe that the service of our country is the service of the Lord of Lords, and devotion to the people is the devotion to the Supreme Self. We know our responsibilities. Give us the ability and courage to fulfill them. Om Tat Sat. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhat Bhavet. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.